Thank you to both of you and your families. Thanks for your distinguished service and you're willing to serve at the highest level in your field. Mr. Cole, you mentioned something that most Americans probably need to pay more attention to. 300 Americans die every day. Did you say that from fentanyl poisoning?
Yes, sir.
And fentanyl comes across the U.S.-Mexican border, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it does.
And the precursors to fentanyl come from what country mainly?
From China.
Do you agree that China has done very little to combat the precursor problem that exists in China?
I would agree. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that China is complicit in the fentanyl poisoning of America?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe the Communist Chinese Party, if they had more will, could do a better job?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. You're a great witness. Mexico. You say Mexico's your biggest problem. It seems like it is. Real briefly, what are the tools you need to combat the problems you see in Mexico that you don't have?
Yeah, first, thank you for the question, Senator, and I enjoyed our discussion yesterday that started with talking about the border and keeping the border secure on the southern part and the northern part. And then we dove into talking about the cartels in their drive in Mexico. Not only their drive in Mexico, but the corruption that's associated with the cartels from the government, from the financial institutions.
Are there parts of Mexico that are pretty much governed by cartels?
Yes, sir.
What percentage of the country of Mexico would you say is dominantly governed by cartels?
Well, I would say a majority. I left DEA in 2019 from Mexico City and saw the dominance that the cartels had at that time. CJNG controlled 24 of the states in Mexico.
Let's just slow down for a second. You know, you're telling us, and I believe you, you've been on the front lines, that our neighbor in Mexico, when it comes to law enforcement and other activities, is pretty much controlled by cartels.
They work hand in hand, yes, sir.
Wow. So to our friends in Mexico, that is unacceptable. So what can we do to change that dynamic?
We need to build capacity, similar to what we did in Colombia in the 80s. We need to continue with building the capacity with the Judicial Wire Intercept program. And for what that means is, in Colombia, we started with 50 phone lines to conduct targeted investigations against cartel leaders, and we need to move that to Mexico. Currently, in Mexico, we do not have the process of a Judicial Wire Intercept program, which allows both governments to share information.
Well, my time's running out, but give me a list of what you need that you don't have. Do you think Mexico is willing to embrace what they have to do to change this dynamic?
I think due to the tremendous diplomatic pressure and the president's pressure as well, they're going to have no choice because too many Americans are dying every single day.
All right, sounds good. Are you familiar with MS-13?
Yes, sir.
Briefly, what are they?
They're a terrorist organization.
Yeah, they've been designated a foreign terrorist organization.
Yes, sir.
They're involved in drugs, fentanyl.
Extortion, kidnapping, drugs, intimidation, money laundering.
In your time in the DEA, do they have like membership cards?
Not necessarily the membership cards, but they are well recognized based on tattoos and different.
Do you have a photo? I think our office provided to you.
We spoke. Yeah, we spoke about it earlier. Yes, sir.
Can you give this to? All right, this is a photo of tattoos of Mr. Ebreo Garcia. Much attention's been paid to his case. I think he's in Venezuela. Can you see the photo here?
Yes, sir, I can. I have a copy of it.
Okay. Based on your time and experience and expertise in the DEA, what does that photo or those markings suggest to you?
Well, they suggest that he's an MS-13 member, that those are his markings. That's his brand. Not only my time at the DEA, but currently I participate.
So the start with a leaf, what's that a sign of?
Marijuana.
Okay. The next one is?
His smiley face.
Okay, and the next one is?
believe that's a 1. It's a little blurred out for me, sir.
Yeah.
And then the last one's a 3 backwards. It looks
Okay.
like from here. Yes,
So
sir.
based on your time as a DEA agent in the field, particularly in Mexico, these tattoos are consistent with MS-13 associations.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Do you know of any other set of combinations that would suggest some other organization this represents?
With this particular one, no, sir.
Thank you.